Hey everyone, Data here, and welcome to another NHL 22 career simulation. Today, going through the career of Šimon Nemec, the second overall selection to the New Jersey Devils in the 2022 NHL Entry Draft. A simulation for Šimon Nemec has been a very popular suggestion in the comments section, so it just goes to show that if there's enough support behind an idea, it will happen. Now, originally, I didn't think that a Nemec simulation would be possible because he is not in franchise mode, but a great comment here left by Shinosuke from Wii Sports. He is in the game, actually. You have to go to the IIHF Juniors and then go to Team Slovakia. And then I thought, well, I can't bring him over to franchise mode. But Narnia Warrior 09 said, why not just take a screenshot of his IIHF stats and attributes and create a player just like him? And I said, you know what? That's actually a great idea. That's exactly what we'll do. So EA makes him a 70 overall. I don't think that's very reflective of how good of a player he actually is. I went ahead and boosted him a little bit to a 74 overall. His puck skills were all between like 72 and 76. His skating wasn't that great, but that's what he's the best at. As a 17-year-old, I don't want to make his stats already too overpowered, that he's like a 90 overall by like the beginning of year number 1. But I did want to make sure that his passing was high, his skating was high, because that's what he's most skilled at. Nemec is projected to be a future top D-man, as he has great two-way offensive ability, something that has been evidenced by his 26 points in 39 games in Slovakia. He's played U16, U18, U20, played for Slovakia at the Olympics. He's one of the highest scoring D-men in the history of the Slovakian league. Add in the 17 points that he scored in 19 playoff games in the 2021-22 season, a strong U20 showing with Slovakia, and even 7 games with the bronze medal winning team at the Olympics. And you have a very desirable prospect for a team that would like some blue line help, and the New Jersey Devils went ahead and did that by selecting him second overall. So there's been some discrepancies. Is he 192 pounds? Is he 200 pounds? Is he 6 foot? Is he 6'1"? So when creating a player, that's kind of what I got to figure out. I went ahead and went with 6'1", 198. These are the attributes that I assigned to him, going with how EA created the player, as well as some tips from the Superhighway Gaming creation of Šimon Nemec. So bringing that all together, I get a 74 overall 17-year-old who will be 18 by the time he is drafted, medium league potential, and should be poised for a great career. I have no idea how he's going to sim. This is the first time that I put a created player into a career simulation. Now we're able to do that because of the past shoot bias that EA added, that slider, which doesn't make created players too broken. Oh, and also forgot to mention, I just added these. I didn't want to go overboard with the X factors and superstar abilities, but I thought it would make sense to give him a zone ability of tape to tape, exceptional passing, as well as the superstar abilities for in reverse, his back skating ability, and stick him up, his great defensive stick. It may be that throughout his career he ends up deserving even more, but since created players aren't given them automatically, I had to go in and do it manually, and these are the ones that I chose. So as always, we'll take control of a completely different NHL team and watch the career of Šimon Nemec. Will he stay with New Jersey, become their pillar on the blue line? Will he go elsewhere? Will he help them to cups, franchise records, Norris trophies? All of that is to be discovered. And just before we get started, I wanted to add that these videos are one of my favorites to make. I love career simulations, but they do take a ton of time, a couple days of simulating and editing, because each season takes about like 20 minutes to sim in the slow franchise mode simulation engine. So if you enjoy these types of videos and you like watching these careers, it would be very much appreciated just leaving a like, leaving a comment, and of course do consider subscribing, as you'll be made aware of all of these uploads. All that being said, let's start Šimon Nemec's career, and that all begins at the 2022 NHL Entry Draft. So at the draft, with some generated prospects being in there, it ends up that the Devils will take Nemec here at 6th overall, and he is, as always, we have already mentioned, 74 overall medium elite, now 18 years of age, but still the same height and weight and all that other stuff. Attributes have not changed, but he is now a part of the New Jersey Devils organization. Also keep in mind that, of course, not everything will be 100% realistic, as there are generated prospects and other real prospects are going to different teams, but just keep in mind that we are simulating and following the 20-whatever year career of Šimon Nemec, and not necessarily keeping track of everything that goes on in the NHL, as that would be impossible to keep 100% realistic. But with all that being said, let's head into 2022-23 and see if Nemec will have some growth over the offseason and crack the NHL lineup, or if the Devils will start him in the AHL. In year number 1, Šimon Nemec finds himself with the Utica Comets, the New Jersey Devils AHL affiliation. He's a 74 overall. I don't believe his attributes have changed at all, but it is unfortunate he's playing third pair minutes with Kevin Ball. There's like 3 NHL caliber defensemen here as well, so I guess Utica is really going for a championship, but it will come at a cost as Nemec has less ice time. Still with the 74 overall, attributes looking like this. Hopefully his passing, offensive awareness, and decent defensive game will allow him to move up in the lineup over the course of the season. He is getting some good special teams time as he is on the first unit of the power play and first unit of the penalty kill, so I guess that balances out the third pair minutes. Here's how the team looks for the forwards, and let's get 2022-23 underway. No big surprise that 2022-23 was a strong year for the Utica Comets as they finished 8th in the AHL with a record of 43, 27, and 12, only allowing 2.38 goals against per game. Nemec had an impressive rookie year in the AHL. He played in 75 out of 82 games, scoring 10 goals and 31 assists for 41 points. Really not bad at all. He was a plus 21 and averaged just about 18.5 minutes of ice time per night. In the playoffs, however, Utica was swept by the Rochester Americans, who went on to win the Calder Cup, 3 and out in round number 1. In those 3 games, however, Nemec went point per game, 3-3 with 2 goals as well, tied for the team lead. Not a big thing, but just say, hey, 2 goals in 3 games, -4 unfortunately, and he rises to a 75 overall after that strong rookie season in the minors. His passing goes up to 85, offensive awareness up by 1 to 81. No big changes, but I'm looking for a strong offseason that will hopefully have him crack the NHL lineup headed into 2023-24. In year number 2, Šimon Nemec is still in the AHL but has grown to a 77 overall, now playing top pair still with his buddy Kevin Ball. 77 overall, medium elite, now listed as a minor top 2 defenseman. 86 passing, 82 offensive awareness. The attributes are coming along nicely, but there's still a plethora of defensemen in the NHL. Dougie Hamilton, Ty Smith, guys like that, who are taking the spots away right now from guys like Šimon Nemec. In the real world, I don't think it'll take this long for Nemec to crack the NHL lineup, but hey, here in the EA universe, that's what's happening. So 2023-24, let's hope for another good year of growth down in Utica. A very different story in year number 2 for Utica as they finished 23rd in the AHL, a record of 35, 40, and 7. Nemec took a step back with a lower quality of teammates, scoring 7 goals and 29 assists for 36 points in 78 games. A -6, 8 power play points, that's better than last season as he had more ice time, averaging, my goodness, almost 26 minutes a night. What a workhorse. With that season, he has grown to a 78 overall. Imagine it as if he just played in Europe for an extra couple of years because it doesn't count towards his ELC or anything like that. So I'll be curious to see if the Devils will sign him to an entry-level deal headed into 2024-25 and break him into the NHL. 3.5-star shooting, 88 passing, 85 puck control. The Devils have not been doing very well themselves, so I think that they could definitely use Nemec on the blue line, and I hope next season is the one that gets him called up. In year number 3, Šimon Nemec is ready to make his NHL debut, playing on the second pair with Vladislav Gavrikov, Smith and Hamilton on the top pair. I know Smith has been traded in the real world, but if I updated that, I'd have to update everything else, and the season starts in 2021, not 2022, so the whole league would have been messed up because you put Gaudreau on Columbus, but then after 1 year, he's back in free agency, so unfortunately impossible to control all of those things since we're still in NHL 22. But Šimon Nemec himself has grown to an 81 overall, listed as a top 6 D-man. Still with the medium league potential, great to see. 90 passing, 87 puck control, 3.5-star shooting, 88 stick checking, great acceleration and speed, 88 and 87 respectively. He's starting off his entry-level deal. You know, EA had him as a 70 overall. Us making him a 74 made him join the NHL in year number 3. It would have been possibly even longer if it went by EA. So just imagine as if he took an extra couple of years in Europe. That's what I would say. Nemec also has some special teams. He has 4-man power play, first unit of 5-on-4 power play, and even first unit penalty kill. Here's how the forwards shape up in New Jersey, and we're looking forward to a great 2024-25 rookie season. In year number 3, Nemec is first in the NHL. The Devils have a very strong showing, finishing 11th in the league with a record of 44, 31, and 7, returning to the postseason for just the first time since 2018 and just the 3rd time since 2011. Nemec played in 81 out of 82 games in his rookie season, amassing 10 goals and 15 assists for 25 points. Unfortunately, a negative 12, but 3 power play points, and he averaged almost 23 minutes of ice time a night as a rookie, definitely garnering him some Calder Trophy votes. Unfortunately, in the postseason, the Devils dropped in 6 games to their rivals, the New York Rangers, who went on to lose in the conference finals to the Senators, who got swept out of the final by the Winnipeg Jets. In those 6 games, Nemec only registered 1 assist and was a negative 5, unfortunately. And in the postseason, he was logging about 21.5 minutes per night. Still a lot of ice time for the young 21-year-old defenseman, who has now grown to an 84 overall and is listed as a top 4 defenseman. So he is poised to get even better in 2025-26. 92 passing, 86 offensive awareness, 4-star shooting, 4-star defense. Looking forward to a strong year number 4. Year number 4, Simon Nemec's sophomore season sees him grow to an 85 overall. Still playing with Gavrikov. The Devils' top 4D haven't changed. I think the top 6 hasn't changed either. He now has 93 passing, 5-star puck skills, 4-star shooting, 4-star defense, everything else. He's a well-rounded defenseman, 6'3", not big when it comes to body checking or aggressiveness, it seems like, with 81 and 83 being those attributes. But he does have the offensive flair. The Devils just need to use him right and give him the appropriate support. Still playing the same special teams with first unit power play, first unit penalty kill as well. And the Devils look like this as a forward core. So after making the postseason last year, they want to keep that momentum rolling into 2025-26. In year number 4, the Devils made the playoffs, snatching the last playoff spot for the Eastern Conference as they finished 15th in the NHL with a record of 44, 31, and 7. Many Eastern Conference teams below them not making it. It was a strong year in the East. Meanwhile, in the West, you have the 22nd place Vegas Golden Knights making the playoffs. In Nemec's sophomore season, he put up 6 goals and 24 assists for 30 points in 71 games. 5 more points than last year, despite playing 10 less games. That put him on a pace for 35 points, so good to see him developing. He was a plus 10 in the regular season, and he logged almost 22.5 minutes per night. In the postseason, the Devils beat the Penguins in round number 1 in 7 games, making it out of the first round for the first time since they went to the Stanley Cup final back in 2012, but they lost in round number 2 to the Washington Capitals, who lost to the Lightning, who got swept out by the Winnipeg Jets, who won another Stanley Cup. Nemec was much stronger in the postseason as he put up 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 points in 13 games. He was even a plus 2 as he logged 23.5 minutes per night. A great postseason from him. Unfortunately, it's not all about the points. We can't see the advanced analytics, so you got to look at some stuff like hits, blocks. He had 11 giveaways, 5 takeaways, so we got to keep working on that. But nonetheless, he's a 22-year-old headed into the final year of his entry-level contract, and he is now an 86 overall, 94 passing, 4-star shooting, the defense 90 stick checking, his skating continues to develop as well. So headed into his 3rd year in the NHL, we'll see if the Devils can stay on this upward trend. Headed into year number 5, the final of Simon Nemec's entry-level contract. He is now up to an 87 overall, still listed as a top 4D, but number 2 on the right-handed defenseman depth chart, as Dougie Hamilton is still above him and signed for 2 more years. Nonetheless, he is an 87 overall with 4-star defense, 5-star puck skills, now at 95 passing, 92 puck control, 87 offensive awareness, and 4.5-star shooting. His physical is coming along nicely, and his skating is still very nice. The Devils have made the postseason in both years that Nemec has been a part of the team, so now with Gavrikov playing with Hamilton and Smith with Nemec, does that change anything up? Special teams, he still has first unit power play, still has first unit penalty kill. The lineup for the forward core looks like this, so we'll see if the Devils can keep on doing what they've been doing. A big surprise in year number 5 as the Devils finished 5th last in the NHL, 28th place with a record of 35, 42, and 5. The offense was not there and the defense wasn't solid. Simon Nemec, however, put up career totals as he scored 12 goals and 24 assists for 36 points in 79 games. Unfortunately, a negative 10, but he was logging over 23.5 minutes of ice time tonight on a not very good team. With that season, he remains an 87 overall, headed into his first contract. 95 passing, 92 puck control. Most of the attributes remain the same. I don't think much, if anything, has changed. The biggest piece of information is that he's finished off his ELC, so we'll have to see how the Devils want to play this. Will it be a small bridge, a big extension? That is for the 2027 off-season to figure out. Headed into year number 6, Šimon Nemec is now up to an 88 overall and has signed an extension with the Devils, a 4-year deal paying him $31.86 million in AAV, just shy of $8 million, as he'll get $7.965 per year. He has now bumped Dougie Hamilton out of the top pair role, as he'll play top pair minutes with Ty Smith. Dougie Hamilton's still very valuable, but he's on the last year of his $9 million deal. Nemec, as an 88 overall, has all of his attributes between 4 and 5 stars, with a 95 passing, 88 offensive awareness, 91 stick checking, 90 acceleration, 89 strength. He's a big boy on that blue line, and the Devils are paying him to continue being that all the way into unrestricted free agency, so that'll be curious to see what happens in 4 years' time. But for now, he's committed to the plan here in New Jersey, and it's a decent team that they've built around him after a pretty tough season last year that saw them finish 5th last. But let's hope for a much better season from last, now that Nemec will be playing top pair D in the NHL for the first time in his career. Slight improvement for the Devils in year number 6 as they finished 24th in the NHL, but still held a sub-500 record, going 38, 41, and 3. Šimon Nemec, in the first year of his 4-year extension, put up 9 goals and 17 assists for 26 points in 76 games and logged an average of 26 minutes and 40 seconds per night. A career high by far, and also good enough for the 5th highest average ice time per game in the NHL. What's confusing me is that the point totals aren't coming with the ice time, but it was a weird year as even Jack Hughes only put up 54 points to lead the team. But all that being said, Nemec had a 26-point season, and heading into year number 7, his 5th in the NHL, he will be an 88 overall. So it really seems like it's coming down to the team around him, which right now is not very good. Headed into year number 7, and the workhorse Šimon Nemec is still an 88 overall on the top pair here in New Jersey. Dougie Hamilton now off the team, so maybe that'll mean more minutes for him. I'll be curious to see. Hopefully that meant that some money was redistributed and the lineup will be a bit stronger. This core of forwards doesn't particularly impress me, but we will see. Nemec is still an 88 overall, as I mentioned, with those 5-star puck skills, 4.5-star shooting. Not much has changed over the last couple seasons. It will take a big season to get some growth out of him. Great to see him at an 88, but I'd like to see some higher point totals and some greater team success. Nemec is also quite literally everywhere, as he's on the power play, the 4-man power play, the penalty kill, the 3-man PK, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, extra attacker, and shootout. So I hope he took his vitamins over the offseason, get the extra oxygen tank on the bench if need be, and let's cross our fingers for Nemec in 2028-29. 2028-29 was another brutal season for the Devils as they finished 28th in the NHL this season, another step back, finishing with a record of 35, 39, and 8. Nemec only played in 66 out of 82 games, which was the lowest total of his career, but makes sense when the man is logging over 26.5 minutes a night. It makes sense that he's going to get injured. He put up 8 goals and 15 assists for 23 points in those 66 games, which would have put him on pace for a 29-point season. He finishes as a -15 and remains at an 88 overall. It doesn't seem like his attributes have been budging at all. He has the potential to score much more into the 30s and 40s, but with a team around him that he has, it's really difficult to get anything going. With 2 more years on his contract, if things don't start turning around soon here in New Jersey, I'd be scared about unrestricted free agency. Year number 8, and Šimon Nemec is still on the top pair with Ty Smith in New Jersey, maintaining his 88 overall. I don't think anything has really changed. It's just that he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to show what he can do without much of a team around him. The forward core seems to have improved a little bit. Top 9 looks a little bit more impressive, and the goaltending here in New Jersey also a bit better. This guy Lawrence Andrews, 87 overall, he was a first-round pick in 2026. But as always, Nemec has power play, penalty kill, and everything in between. A ton of ice time and opportunity for the young Slovak to really make his mark on the league. In year number 8, the New Jersey Devils slipped into the postseason with a wonky record of 37, 29, and 16. Those overtime losses really boosting their point total, as 90 points gave them 16th spot in the league. And the heavens finally opened for Šimon Nemec, who in his first 82-game season of his career scored 7 goals and 49 assists, easily career high, for a career high of 56 points. Still a -4, but hey, we can work on that. 7 power play points, registering 3 seconds shy of 27 minutes per night. That was good enough for the 2nd highest average in the NHL. Shout out to Adam Fox, who is logging 27-20 per night, but hey, still nothing to sneeze at. Unfortunately, in the postseason, the Devils fell in 5 games to the eventual Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers. Not much to be ashamed of there because the Rangers beat the Devils in 5, Capitals in 4, Leafs in 5, and Canucks in 5, only losing 3 games in the entire postseason. At least the Devils handed them one of them. Nemec kept up his scoring in the postseason as he scored 4 points in 5 games and was logging 23.52 per night. After that career year, he now grows to an 89 overall and is listed as a top 2 defenseman for the first time in his career. 97 passing, 93 stick checking, 91 acceleration, great attributes all around that you can see right here. Headed into what will be the final year of his contract, the numbers changed around a little bit because of salary cap stuff, but the final year of that 4-year, $7.965 AAV deal. The Devils are finally trending up, and hopefully another strong season will be enough to make Nemec want to sign long term. Year number 9 headed into 2030-31, and I have never been this hopeful for the Devils. Šimon Nemec is a 90 overall headed into this season, which is the final year on his contract. 5-star puck skills, 5-star physical, 4.5-star shooting and defense, and 4-star senses and skating. He is a monster back there. Give him 27 minutes a night, and he will absolutely be making a huge impact for the Devils, who have a great team. Their forward core is the best I think that we've seen. Klim Kostin at an 88 overall. A lot of other names that you could check out right there. The defensive core is pretty solid as well, and between the pipes, they have that guy Lawrence Andrews as an 88 overall, signed on only for 1 more year, so hopefully they can keep him because you really need a good goalie in there. But hopefully Šimon Nemec, with all the power play, penalty kill, and everything else, can help the Devils to a strong season that management will also be hoping for if they want to sign Nemec long term. Somehow, the Devils got worse in 2030-31 as they finished 24th in the NHL once again, this time having a record of 36, 42, and 4. The good news is that Šimon Nemec had another fully healthy 82-game season, putting up 5 goals and 43 assists for 48 points, a bit less than last year, but the second best statistical season of his career. He was finally a plus player as well at a +3. He had 8 power play points and was logging over 26 minutes a night, but unfortunately the team was not strong enough. So after his 9th season and 7th in the NHL, he is still a 90 overall, but it's definitely going to be costly for the Devils to re-sign him as he was making $7-8 million before. He'll definitely be wanting a bit of an upgrade for all the minutes that he logs. I don't know if the Devils really have the money to spare, but regardless, after 2031, he has 5-star puck skills, shooting, and physical, 4.5 defense, 4-star senses and skating. He is going to demand a pretty penny, and we'll see if he'll keep his talents here in New Jersey. Now, how about this? In year number 10, Šimon Nemec goes to unrestricted free agency and signs with the Tampa Bay Lightning, now without Victor Hedman, and he will play top pair with Mikhail Sergachev, a big upgrade from what he was previously having in New Jersey. Now, I'm sure that New Jersey tried to negotiate with Nemec, but when he got the offer that he did in unrestricted free agency, a 6-year deal paying him $14.43 million per year, $86.58 million for 6 seasons. I doubt that Nemec could really say no to that. Plus, it's a great group here in Tampa. The defensive core isn't great. That first pair is very good, but the forward core is fantastic. Tolvanen, Point, and Caulfield as the first line. Yeah, the second, third, and fourth line may not be as strong, but this should be a team with a strong record, especially with a good goalie in between the pipes, Jeremy Swayman, the starter. So Šimon Nemec, a 90 overall in the first year of that 6-year contract, still with the 5-star puck skills, shooting, and physical. With a great D partner and a very strong team around him, I'm very excited to see what Nemec does in his first year out of New Jersey. Also to note that after his 7 seasons with the Devils organization, he played in 537 games, scoring 57 goals and 187 assists, 244 points. Despite being a -39, he was a workhorse, of course, averaging over 25 minutes of ice time per night in those 7 seasons. So the Devils will absolutely miss him, but Nemec is moving on, and we'll see how things go in 2031-32 with Tampa Bay. In year number 10, Nemec and the Lightning got off on a great foot as Tampa Bay finished 7th in the NHL with a record of 49, 30, and 3. Šimon Nemec set a new career high in goals and points with 19 goals and 40 assists for a 59-point season across 75 games, putting him on pace for a 65-point season in all 82. Nemec was also a plus 38, which was by far a career high. Throw in 9 power play points and averaging over 26 minutes of ice time a night, and he is exactly the workhorse that Tampa Bay went out and signed in free agency. In the postseason, the Lightning beat the Canadiens in 6, the Red Wings in 7, but then dropped to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals in 6 in the Eastern Conference Final. A great run and the furthest of Nemec's career. Over those 19 games, Nemec scored 3 goals and 10 assists for 13 points, continuing his trend of being a playoff performer, had an even plus-minus, and finished with an average of 26 minutes and 50 seconds a night of ice time. After an extremely strong debut season with the Lightning, Nemec maintains his 90 overall status, but now it's 5-star puck skills and defense with 4.5 senses, shooting and physical with 4-star skating. He is a great two-way D who pulls his weight in every way imaginable, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for him and the Lightning as we head into year number 11. Year number 11, and Nemec is still in the top pair in Tampa with his buddy Mikhail Sergachev. The Lightning did take a big hit in the offseason, though, as they lost Braden Point. I'm not sure if it was to free agency or retirement. Tolvanen, Caulfield, Brink, all still here. They added Alex Texier. All great things, but big hole down the middle. Goaltending, still Jeremy Swayman, who's coming off of winning the Vezina and the Jennings, so that's great, but still a big hole in the point scoring. Hopefully Nemec will continue on the pace that he's been on. 90 overall with all of his attributes still looking the same as they were at the end of last season, I believe. So coming off of a Game 7 Eastern Conference Final loss to the eventual Cup champions, and a little bit of hurt when it comes to the goal scoring, hopefully the wingers can come through, and Šimon Nemec has another strong season in his sophomore year in Tampa. In year number 11, the Tampa Bay Lightning returned to the postseason with a 12th place finish in the NHL with a record of 43, 32, and 7. It was another great 50-plus point season for Šimon Nemec, who played his first full 82-game season with the Lightning and scored 11 goals and 42 assists for 53 points. Along with that, he was a plus 14, had 13 power play points, and logged 26 minutes and 48 seconds a night. That ice time average gave him the most in the entire NHL in 2032-33, the first time that he had that honor, so congratulations to the workhorse. And in the postseason, the Tampa Bay Lightning won the 2033 Stanley Cup as they took down the Rangers in 5, Nemec's old team, the Devils, in a 7-game thriller before sweeping through the Leafs and sweeping through the Predators to win the Stanley Cup. I can only imagine how great that series was against the Devils. In 20 games, Šimon Nemec put up 3 goals and 11 assists for 14 points, continuing his ability to just be a monster in the postseason. He was a plus 19, and he was logging over 26 minutes of ice time per night. A very well-deserved Stanley Cup for Šimon Nemec, who maintains his 90 overall status headed into 2033-34. 5-star puck skills and defense with the 4.5 physical and shooting, 4-star senses and skating. Šimon Nemec, a Stanley Cup champion in 2033. Who needs a first-line center? Svitov took on that role. Caulfield won the Conn Smythe. Tolvanen was great. Sergachev and Nemec combined for 36 points in the postseason. I wouldn't be surprised if they are the top pair in the entire NHL. So headed into 2033-34, the Lightning will look to defend their Stanley Cup championship, and I hope that Nemec has a great summer with the Cup back in Slovakia. Year number 12, Nemec's 10th NHL season. He is still at a 90 overall playing with Mikhail Sergachev, but Sergachev is now 35 and has dropped to an 86 overall. Speaking of age, Jeremy Swayman also 34 and at an 83 overall. Over the offseason, the Lightning also lost Cole Caulfield, so Tolvanen, he's 34, he's getting older. Brink has grown, Svitov has grown, but the forward core as a whole has dropped off a little bit, but will that matter for such a strong team as the Lightning? Šimon Nemec, the engine that keeps that team rolling, 90 overall with all those juicy attributes, 97 passing, 93 stick checking, 90 defensive awareness, 90 acceleration, back-to-back playoff appearances and 50-plus point seasons with the Lightning, so heading into his 3rd with Tampa and 10th in the league. Let's see what happens. In year number 12, the Lightning made the playoffs, finishing 15th in the NHL with a record of 43, 34, and 5, giving Nemec his 3rd consecutive playoff appearance for the first time in his career. Another very solid 50-plus point season from Nemec as he scored 8 goals and 48 assists for 56 points in 81 games. He was a +7 with 13 power play points and logged 26-20 per night. Also, I haven't been mentioning it too much because it would be a lot to go through every season, take up a lot of time. Instead, we'll just do it at the end. But just to say, Nemec blocks and hits quite a bit, well over 1 per game. This season, almost 150 hits and over 100 blocks. With all that ice time, with that point production as well, Nemec is an extremely valuable player on any team that he plays for. In the postseason, the Lightning were unfortunately the biggest losers of the postseason as they dropped in 7 games in round number 1 to the Canadiens, who fell to the Sabres, who fell to the Rangers, who fell to the Coyotes, who won the 2034 Stanley Cup. Nemec was quiet in the postseason, likely due to an injury. He played 81 games, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got injured towards the end of the season, maybe missed game number 1. But through the 6 games that he played, he only scored 1 goal, no assist, and was a -5. Very surprising. And he also was only playing 22:57, which is 3 minutes less than his usual average. Despite that, Nemec maintains his 90 overall status and will head into 2034-35 with his 5-star puck skills and defense as always. The attributes haven't changed much since he reached 90 overall, but it's 3 consecutive 50-plus point seasons with the Lightning, 3 consecutive playoff berths. Let's try and make it 4. Year number 13, and Šimon Nemec is still on the top pair in Tampa Bay, but he is no longer with Mikhail Sergachev. He has left either due to retirement or free agency. He is now playing with Jérémy Poirier, who is an offensive defenseman. That's nice, so we'll see if that helps at all in simulation. Nemec is a 90 overall with all of those tantalizing attributes still maintained. The forward core in Tampa Bay, Eli Tolvanen is still here, which is great, down to an 86. Texay down to an 82. 38-year-old Dylan Larkin is here now, so that's cool. And the goaltending is an 82 overall Jeremy Swayman with 77 overall Ludvig Ahonen. Scratches, nothing crazy. So hoping for more great stuff from Nemec and the Lightning, but he is really starting to turn into the guy who's going to have to carry, and not just a guy who's going to benefit from the team around him. But hopefully he can make himself and his teammates better in 2034-35. In year number 13, the Lightning missed the postseason for the first time with Šimon Nemec as a part of the team, as they finished 18th in the NHL with a record of 41, 34, and 7. 2 more wins than the Senators, who made the playoffs above them, but the Senators had 3 less losses and 5 more overtime losses, which gave them that extra point to push them into the postseason. It definitely wasn't Šimon Nemec's fault that the Lightning didn't make the postseason, as he posted new career highs in assists and points. He was 1 assist shy of his career high in points. He played a full 82-game season, scoring 11 goals and 58 assists for 69 points. He was a +1, one of the few plus players on the team, had 12 power play points, and logged, get ready for this, 27 minutes and 4 seconds of ice time per night. A new career high as he passes 27 minutes for the first time in his career, and he also led the NHL once again in average ice time per game. Really unfortunate to see the Lightning not make the postseason after a season like that from Nemec. He maintains his 90 overall status. 5-star puck skills, defense, and shooting. 3 5-star categories with 4.5 physical and 4-star senses and skating. What a monstrous year from Nemec. Definitely getting him some Norris Trophy votes. It's too bad you can't see the runners up. All we know is that Adam Fox won the Norris Trophy. Usually goes to the defenseman with the most number of points here in franchise world. But hey, headed into 2035-36, if the Lightning can just get a little bit stronger and Nemec can maintain that type of production, it'll be a great year. Year number 14, and it's still Nemec and Poirier on the first D pairing in Tampa Bay. The team itself has taken a bit of a hit over the offseason. No more Eli Tolvanen, Dylan Larkin, those guys. Pinelli, Pettersson, these are the guys of the future, it looks like, here in Tampa Bay. Goaltending, they have Cannon and Frazee, it looks like, so a couple of 70-some overalls. Could be a difficult year in Tampa, but, you know, sometimes these are the teams that surprise you the most. So hopefully with some scoring and with the great defense of Šimon Nemec, it could be another postseason berth. 5-star puck skills, defense, and shooting heading into this year for Šimon Nemec. 4.5 physical with the 4-star senses and skating. Coming off of a career year, let's see what he can do in 2035-36. Whoa, brutal year in Tampa Bay for year number 14 as the Lightning finish 3rd last in the NHL, 30th place with a record of 30, 43, and 9, the lowest finish that Nemec has ever been part of. Nemec scored a career low in goals as he only scored 4 in 76 games, had 39 assists, and he had 43 points total, the lowest that he's scored with Tampa Bay so far. He was on pace for a 46-point season, but still not super impressive. A negative 22. I mean, understandable when he's on such a bad team, I suppose. 6 power play points, logging about 26.5 minutes per night. So can't blame Nemec too much, but unfortunate that he went from a 69-point season to a 43 on pace for 46-point season. And after a year like that, he does indeed drop to an 89 overall. Now at the age of 32 and headed into the final year of that massive deal that he signed with the Lightning in free agency, still maintains 5-star puck skills, but everything else is 4 or 4.5 stars. So hopefully things like defensive awareness down at 89, that's a bit surprising. But hopefully he'll bounce back sooner rather than later. I guess it was probably due to injuries as well. This guy Pettersson had 22 goals in 48 games, got injured. So let's hope for a big bounce back year heading into 2036-37, because this was definitely not the norm. In the offseason, the Lightning jumped from 3rd to 2nd selection in the draft lottery. And with that 2nd overall selection, went ahead and selected an 81 overall medium elite sniper, this guy Teemu Huhtala. So 5'9", but 5-star shooting. Hopefully that will help their offensive woes, and he'll be able to join the team sooner rather than later. Okay, year number 15, I'm liking this lineup a lot more for the Lightning. It is the final year of Nemec's 6-year, $86.58 million contract. He's playing top pair, 89 overall, now at the age of 32. Still with 5-star puck skills, but everything else between 4 and 4.5 stars. Maybe due to age and performance, a little mix of both. He's playing on the top pair with Isaac Hewson, a defensive defenseman, 86 overall. So great to see him with another high overall player who has 99 shot blocking, 90 defensive awareness. Very, very nice. And offensively, we see on the first line that prospect who was just drafted, and this guy, Pierre Maisonneuve, an 87 overall two-way forward, 4-star shooting. His old buddy, Alex Holtz from New Jersey, is here. So I'm liking this team a lot more for the Lightning. Goaltending is, oh my goodness, I was going to say is still difficult. 260 overall goaltenders. You have a 64 and a 63. Oh my goodness, this is where the AIGM really struggles. I'm sure this team has at least enough money. And yeah, you have an abundance of forwards. You have an 84 overall scratched, but you couldn't spend a league minimum on a 70-some overall, 78, 79, who's in free agency still. Regardless, let's hope this team can pull some sort of miracle out of a magic hat. Šimon Nemec is playing his 15th season abroad, 13th in the NHL, and possibly his last with Tampa Bay. In year 15, the Lightning improved, but only slightly, as they finished 25th in the NHL. It was a record above 500 for such a low ranking. 38, 36, and 8 was their record, but no postseason nonetheless. The 3rd consecutive season that Nemec has not made the playoffs, the first time that has happened since years 5, 6, and 7. It was a very difficult year for Šimon Nemec, as he only put up 36 points in 80 games, 11 goals and 25 assists. This would be normal back in New Jersey, but not since his time in Tampa Bay started. It's been a slow decline the last couple of years, and after 3 years of making the postseason and then 3 years of missing the postseason, I'll be curious to see if Nemec wants to stay in Tampa, or if Tampa even wants to be keeping him. Nonetheless, he is still an 89 overall, had a weird season putting up 66 penalty minutes, which was a career high in that regard by quite a bit. Still logged about 26.5 minutes of ice time per night, was a plus 14, so I gotta give it to him. Not a bad season defensively, but it just looks like the offensive edge to his game has kind of fallen away. Of course, it doesn't help when your starting goaltender is a 67 overall who has a sub 900 save percentage and allows 3.25 goals against per game. Scoring here on the team, despite even Eli Tolvanen coming back to Tampa. The rookie did well, 35 goals there. But will Nemec be here to see how the Lightning pan out long term? That was the final year of that big $86.5 million contract, so we'll see what happens in free agency, as he's now 33 years of age and will need probably one more big contract to his retirement. Still a great puck handler, skater, and many other things, but his attributes have seemed to plateau here at 89. We'll see if he can get back to 90, sign a big deal, and figure out what 2037-38 has in store for him. In year number 16, Šimon Nemec is back in Tampa Bay. He signed a 1-year prove-it-to-me deal, paying him $9.33 million. 3 consecutive seasons of making the postseason, 3 consecutive seasons of missing the postseason. Year number 7 will be the decider. Nemec is still an 89 overall at the age of 33 with his 5-star puck skills, but as always, everything else is between 4 and 4.5 stars. His new defensive pairing on the top pair is 79 overall Tristan Luneau, so not ideal. There is an 83 overall in the top 6 as well. Offense, this guy Seth Snyder coming in is a huge catch. 5-star shooting, everything 96 to 97. 2nd overall pick sniper, so this will be a huge help for the Lightning. Their top 6 looks very serviceable. Goaltending, okay, a couple of 84s now even more than they needed. So you know what? This may be a season that convinces Nemec to stay on long term. Let's hope for a big bounce back after a couple of downward seasons here in 2037-38. In year number 16, the Lightning returned to the playoffs with a very strong 5th place finish in the NHL, a record of 47, 28, and 7. Nemec was also back to his old self as he played in all 82 games and scored 14 goals and 40 assists for a 54-point campaign. He was a plus 37, had 6 power play points, and averaged exactly 26 minutes of ice time per night. In the postseason, however, the Lightning dropped in 6 games in round number 1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, who would go on to get swept by the Bruins, who would go on to lose in the Stanley Cup final in 6 games to the Kraken. In those 6 games, Šimon Nemec was electric, scoring 1 goal and 9 assists for 10 points, well over a point per game. He was a plus 2 along the way and averaged a little over 26.5 minutes of ice time per night, well above anyone else on the team. His greatest postseason showing of his career looks like, but unfortunately done after 1 round. At the age of 34, now after his 16th season and 14th in the NHL, Nemec is still an 89 overall, which is really great to see. Hopefully retirement is not around the corner just yet. He maintains the elite potential, so his overall shouldn't fluctuate too much. The 5-star puck skills, 5-star physical is back. Everything else between 4 and 4.5 stars. So now the question headed into the 2038 offseason will be whether or not Nemec and the Lightning can come to an agreement to possibly close out his career on the Lightning. In year number 17, after spending 7 years in New Jersey and 7 years in Tampa, Šimon Nemec is headed to St. Louis for year number 15 in the NHL. At the age of 34, he's still an 88 overall, and he's playing top pair minutes with this guy, Caden Haynes, who's won at least 1 Norris Trophy, I believe. He was drafted by the Devils back in 2027. So I believe they even played together for a little bit. He's a great defenseman. Nemec is an 88 overall, as I just said. His potential has dropped to top 4D, which is a bit unfortunate, but makes sense at the age of 34. He is signed on for 2 years here in St. Louis, paying him $12.825 million per season, a total of $25.65 million. And I believe his attributes are still worth that money, as he has the 5-star puck skills and physical, 4 to 4.5, everything else. 94 stick checking, 93 passing, 93 and 94 slap shot and wrist shot power respectively. Still the 90 acceleration and 89 speed at his age as well, so that's great to see. The forward core in St. Louis isn't bad. A great first line, that's for sure. The depth leaves a bit to be desired, but it's there here in St. Louis. Goaltending is also there. Lawrence Andrews, the former Devils goalie, here he is in St. Louis. So a bit of a reunion with 3 former Devils here on the St. Louis Blues. The Blues made the playoffs but lost in round number 1 last year, so let's see what the addition of Šimon Nemec will do for St. Louis headed into 2038-39. In year number 17, the St. Louis Blues finished 8th in the NHL to make the postseason with a record of 47, 27, and 8. Šimon Nemec, however, did not put up any crazy numbers, 7 goals and 32 assists for a 39-point season across 77 games. He finished as a +6 with 4 power play points and still logged big numbers with over 26.5 minutes of ice time per night, leading his team in that regard, despite not having as many points as his deep partner Haynes. But you got to give it to the guy, 35 years of age and logging the 4th most minutes on average in the NHL. In the postseason, the Blues unfortunately got swept out of the playoffs by the Winnipeg Jets, who went on to lose to the Avalanche, who lost to the Montreal Canadiens for the 2039 Stanley Cup. In those 4 games, Nemec registered 2 assists, was a -1, had 8 penalty minutes, no power play points, and was playing almost 28 minutes a night. I don't know how he's doing at the age of 35, but he's still got it. He's down to an 87 overall, but that's okay. He's still got the durability at 92 to keep on going. None of his attributes are at 5 stars any longer. Everything is between 3.5 and 4.5. Still a very serviceable defenseman who logs minutes like an animal, but unfortunately he will continue to drop with that top 4 D potential. I'll be curious to see how things look headed into 2039-40, especially as that will be the final year of that 2-year contract he signed in St. Louis. Headed into year number 18, Šimon Nemec is down at an 85 overall, but still playing top pair minutes with Caden Haynes. The defense overall on St. Louis has improved, so that's a positive. He's now listed as a top 4 defenseman with top 4 D potential. His puck skills have dropped to 4 stars as the hand-eye's gone down. I don't know if it's the cataracts or what, but he still has 90 passing, 86 offensive awareness, and 4.5 star shooting. Acceleration and speed down to 87. The shot blocking, the stick checking, that's all still there, as well as the 92 durability. So we should still see high numbers when it comes to ice time per game, especially playing first pair. With the offense, it looks like the forward core has improved a little bit in St. Louis as well, and the goaltending has taken a bit of a dip as it's an 81 and a 78. But the Blues will look to return to the postseason in 2040. And for his 15th season in the NHL, I'll be curious to see if Nemec can get back into that 50-plus point range. In year number 18, the St. Louis Blues missed out on the postseason, finishing 22nd in the NHL, very close to the Kings, who snatched the last spot in the West. They had a record of 39, 35, and 8, and this ends Nemec's streak of making the postseason in at least the first 2 seasons that he spends with any team that he goes to. It wasn't a 50-plus point season, but Nemec scored 41 in 81, 7 goals and 34 assists, pretty much the same pace that he was on last season, but a great plus 28, very nice, the best on the team by far. He also had 8 power play points and still logged 25 minutes a night. For the first time in a long time, not the leader of ice time on his team, but still a lot of ice time for the 36-year-old, who is now an 83 overall, listed as a top 4 D man, top 4 D potential. 89 passing still holding up, but a lot of his other attributes starting to fall off, especially his skating down to 84 and 84. 5-star shooting remains, though, as he will once again enter unrestricted free agency at the age of 36. So let's see if St. Louis will be a match to close out his career, or if he'll look to go elsewhere headed into 2040-41. Year number 19, and Šimon Nemec has come back to the Eastern Conference, signing a 1-year contract for $8.16 million with the New York Rangers, a team that has been extremely strong in the simulation so far. So fully understandable why he'd want to sign with the Rangers. His defensive partner on the top pair in New York this season will be Jamie, or is it Jaime McLeod, a 33-year-old, 79 overall defensive defenseman. Not ideal, but at least it's an NHL caliber player. At least the goaltending is solid, as Bernard Simard is the goalie here in New York, a 90 overall, who was a 3rd-round pick in 2026. He signed to a nice contract. Hey, at least there's something. The forward core here in New York is amazing, though. You have Slavkovsky and Wright on the same team here in 2040-41. That's a funny little tidbit of knowledge. Shane Wright has been amazing in this simulation. He has over 1,500 points in 1,386 games, a lot of awards as well, so he's done very well on the Rangers. Slavkovsky's also done very well with 1,229 points of his own, so this should be a great year offensively for the Rangers. Now the question is, can Šimon Nemec hold down the blue line at 36 years of age as the only player who's above 80 overall, as an 83, now with top 6 D potential. His skating's down to 3 stars, defense at 3.5, as his defensive awareness is only 85, sense is also 3.5, physical and puck skills at 4 stars, shooting still at 5, but he doesn't do much of that. So we'll see how this season pans out as Nemec is chasing a ring with the Rangers in 2040-41. What? In year number 19, somehow the Rangers finished 30th in the NHL, possibly the worst winning percentage record of Nemec's career. I'm not totally sure on that number. Not the least amount of wins, but 32, 45, and 5 as the record. 3rd worst in the league, and the team that he just left, the Blues, were the absolute worst. So that is a brutal break. Nemec played in all 82 games and registered 9 goals and 27 assists for 36 points. He was a -7 along the way with 5 power play points and logged 27 minutes and 11 seconds on average per night as a 37-year-old, 79 overall, a new career high in average time on ice per game. That is just ludicrous. by a good margin, the most ice time per game of any player in the NHL. I don't know how this guy does it. He should be getting the Masterton Trophy for dedication to hockey. Too bad that this is a randomized trophy here in the game. But at the end of 2041, at the age of 37, Nemec, as previously mentioned, a 79 overall, unfortunately, with top 6 deep potential. Even if he doesn't retire, I'm not sure how his overall is going to hold up and if he'll find a contract for next season. I would think he would, but it all depends on if he retires or not. Regardless, his defense did take a big hit, 82 shot blocking, 83 stick checking, his skating at 3 stars as well. Still the 87 passing and the great wrist shot and slap shot power, 90 durability. But these seasons are definitely taking a toll on Nemec, who has been a mule on the blue line. Headed into 2041-42, Simon Nemec is once again a UFA, and we'll see what the 2041 offseason has in store. In year number 20, Nemec's 18th NHL season, it all comes back full circle as he signs a 1-year contract with the New Jersey Devils, paying him $4.22 million. Right back to where his career started, the right side of the second D pairing in New Jersey. His partner this year is Mario Durette, a two-way defender for 83 overall, so at least there's that. The defensive core is not horrible here in New Jersey, and even though Nemec is a 79 overall, I'm sure that he can still be logging those minutes that he's known for. 87 passing, 84 offensive awareness, 4.5 star shooting. He can still do it, especially in a bit of a reduced role here on New Jersey. The team itself is pretty good, actually. There's 390 plus overalls in the top 6, so the forward core is actually fantastic. 78 overall Mason McTavish is out here. Goaltending is doable for sure, 85 overall. It's great to be back in New Jersey. It's the first time in a career simulation that I've seen a player go back to a team that they were previously on. So I'll be extremely curious to see how Nemec is utilized here in 2041-42. In year number 20, the New Jersey Devils win the Metropolitan Division and finish 5th in the NHL with a record of 50 wins, 27 losses, and 5 overtime losses. Wonderful to see the Devils back in the postseason, and Nemec pulled his weight, 3 goals, 20 assists, and 23 points in 77 games for the now 38-year-old Simon Nemec. He was a +2 and only had 6 penalty minutes. I would give him some votes for the Lady Bing right there. No power play points this year. I doubt he got much special teams time, and that's why he had a career low in ice time, playing just over 17 minutes a night. In the postseason, unfortunately, the Devils did not make it past the second round, but they did have a very small championship as they beat the Lightning, Nemec's old team, in a 5-game series in round number 1, before they dropped in 6 to the Blue Jackets, who dropped in 5 to the Leafs, who dropped in 6 to the Seattle Kraken, who won another Stanley Cup. In those 11 games, Simon Nemec registered 1 lone assist and was a -3, unfortunately. At the age of 36, give the guy a little bit of a break. He registered just under 16 minutes of ice time per night, and headed into the 2042 offseason, now finds himself as a 78 overall with 7th D potential, so will likely continue to drop. Attributes looking like this after one last year in New Jersey. It will likely be time for retirement for Nemec. 80 shot blocking, 78 hand-eye, a lot of stuff falling off. But glad to see that he was able to put up one last fight with the Devils in 2041-42. But hold on just a second, put the champagne on ice, because Simon Nemec is back for more in 2042. The 77 overall 38-year-old signs a 2-year deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets, paying him $2.255 million per season, a total of just over $4.5 million. I would be shocked if he stays beyond one more season at his current age and overall, but here he is. Still has 4.5 star shooting, 84 offensive awareness, the skating, the defense, the puck skills, all at 3 stars, 84 passing, one of his best attributes left. Physical at 2.5 stars. He's getting a little weaker at 76 body checking, but he still has the 89 durability, and he's ready to log those minutes. His defensive partner is Wilson Homer, a defensive defenseman. Often he finds himself with defensive defensemen, and it's not a great D-core here in Columbus. The team itself has done quite well in recent history, but not the craziest core of players this year. I wouldn't say Ned Pisani, at least a good goaltender, it looks like, at 88 overall. But hey, he wants more, and he's here for more. He feels like there's more in the tank, and he wants to get it out. 38 years of age, 77 overall, 2042-43. His 19th season in the NHL. Let's hit it. Year number 21 was unfortunate as due to an extremely strong Eastern Conference, the Blue Jackets missed out on the playoffs, finishing 18th in the NHL with a record of 42, 35, and 5. Even the 13th place Hurricanes didn't make it. It was a fully healthy 82-game season for Šimon Nemec. You know what? At least there's that. 7 goals, 21 assists, a 28-point season. An improvement on last year, which was the career low. He was a -10, had 3 power play points, and still averaged over 22.5 minutes per night at the age of 39. Still at a 78 overall. What a year from him. Durability still up there. The puck skills down to 2.5 stars. But you know what? Nemec did his job in the Blue Jackets, and it almost got them to the postseason. With one more year on his contract, will Nemec play his 20th season in the NHL, getting him to the age of 40, or will he call it a career in the 2043 offseason? And in the offseason, Šimon Nemec does indeed call it a career. Just 6 games shy of 1,500, going out with 781 points. Definitely lower point totals at the start and end of his career, but he definitely showed his ability throughout his 19 seasons in the NHL. Let's get to these numbers. Nemec retires with a total of 168 goals. Never had more than 19, wasn't much of a goal scorer, but he definitely had a lot of high assist seasons. He goes out with 613, but he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons of 40 or more assists, and even a career high of 58. 781 points, only getting in the 60s once. He had 169-point season. A handful in the 50s, a few in the 40s, some in the 30s. Most of his strongest seasons coming with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He ended as a plus 69, had really good seasons, plus 38, plus 37, but also some difficult seasons, -22, -15. He ends in the plus category by quite a bit, so that's great to see. Only 679 penalty minutes, a lot of seasons of only 3 minor penalties. No Lady Bings to show for it, unfortunately, going up to as high as 66 penalty minutes per season. 3,217 shots, 21 of his 168 goals were game winners. Funny to see that almost every season had at least one. Scrolling down here, so 0 in 2042-43, but 1 the year before, 3 out of 9 the year before that, then 1, 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, but then a huge string of just 1 game-winning goal per season. You could always count on him for 1 or 2, it seems like. 25 goals on the power play, 109 power play points, 9 shorthanded goals, that's a bit rare to see, and 27 shorthanded points. He ended up averaging 25 minutes and 15 seconds per night in the NHL. You'll see on the next screen how that differed between different teams. Obviously, his most ice time coming when he played with the Tampa Bay Lightning. In total, he played over 37,700 minutes in the NHL. Just a workhorse for the ages. Never took any face-offs. He threw over 2,000 hits. Was usually good for well over 100, sometimes as good as 150 plus. And he had 1,963 blocked shots, very consistently blocking over 100 shots per season. 1,269 giveaways, 564 takeaways. Not a great ratio, but keep in mind that he's not a forward. It's always going to be a bit different for a defenseman. In the postseason, his appearances were few and far between at times, only playing 90 games across 19 NHL seasons, but he was always very offensive in the postseason, scoring 11 goals and 44 assists in 55 games. He was a +8, had 28 penalty minutes, threw almost 200 shots on net, had 10 out of 55 points on the power play, and was good enough to average over 24 minutes a night. Threw 139 hits in those 90 games and blocked 116 shots, 81 giveaways, 36 takeaways, and of course, 1 Stanley Cup back in 2033, a great season where he put up 14 points in 20 games with the Lightning. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, as the career of Šimon Nemec comes to a close. The Devils' second overall selection in 2022 had quite the career. In the real world, I think he'll make the NHL much sooner. I think he'll have greater point totals as well, but great to see his talent really come to fruition and blossom in Tampa Bay. With the Lightning, he was logging 26.5 minutes of ice time per night, had great 50 and 60 point seasons, but his career as a whole was fantastic. Almost 1,500 NHL games, making over $170 million along the way, really making Slovakia proud. His 82-game average was very solid as well in terms of the blocked shots, the hits. Even though it wasn't always the greatest point totals, he was, as I'll say for like the 40th time in this video, a workhorse horse, just a mule, dogging it out every shift. Coming back to the bench, hooked up the oxygen tank, went right back out, and never asked for it to let up. He was a monster. It was great to see his career go from New Jersey to Tampa, St. Louis, New York, back to New Jersey, and then closing out with the Blue Jackets. Unfortunate that he couldn't get much more postseason success than the one Stanley Cup, but very glad to see that he did get the cup and was instrumental in 2033. No awards aside from the Stanley Cup, no franchise or league records, whether it be single game, single season, rookie, or anything like that. Of course, comparing the totals of a player that retired in 2043 to the totals of players in 2022 will never be easy because I'm sure much happened in the last 20 years. But as of this moment, as Nemec retires with an average ice time of 25 minutes and 15 seconds, that would put him third all-time in NHL history for average ice time of players who have played at least 200 games. Nemec's 1,494 games would also put him 24th all-time in that regard, ahead of Wayne Gretzky and just one game behind Phil Housley. And if you're looking at just all defensemen in NHL history, Nemec would rank 8th all-time, just ahead of Glenn Wesley. So take a moment to pause, check out the rest of this graphic for the career of Šimon Nemec. Let me know down in the comment section below here on YouTube or over on the Discord server, link in the description. What did you think about this career? What parts do you think could be realistic? Do you think this is the type of career that Šimon Nemec could have? Keep in mind that it's all a simulation. I don't have any control over it. And an EA simulation isn't usually the most trustworthy source when it comes to crystal ball predictions, but still fun to look at nonetheless. Also, let me know which player you want to see next. As I mentioned, this Nemec simulation is a result of comments and likes to those comments. So if enough of you ask for it, I will absolutely get it done. All I ask in return, hey, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and do of course consider subscribing, as you'll be made aware of all of these uploads: NHL 22 franchise mode and career simulations, other franchise mode uploads across different games and sports, as well as breaking news and analysis of the real world of hockey. So take a moment, look around the channel, and if you think that it's something that you'd like, we would absolutely love to have you join the team. With all that being said, I will close it out. Šimon Nemec, great longevity, a pillar in the community of NHL defensemen. Wishing him all the best in his real life career. Excited to see what he does starting with the Devils, and I'm sure you are too. So once again, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.